What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Fall Obsession podcast episode. My name is Sam Thrash. I'm your show host over here, and thank you guys for pressing play on another one of our episodes. My guest this week, his name's Corey Lehr. He is the owner and operator of Monarch Hunting Products. You guys may have seen them on social media recently. Their social media presence has really grown in the last year. We talk about that in the podcast, but they make quality hunting blinds, deer feeders. They're a Texas-based company, and Corey has had a very, very unique and special journey in getting where he is today in the last 5 or 6 years. We dive into it. I'm going to save it for the episode, but he had just an absolutely crazy and unique experience getting into this industry, buying and purchasing this company, everything he had to go through at the very beginning, and being able to take it to where it is now was certainly a God thing for him to be able to grow this brand to the point it is today. Got connected with Corey actually through a mutual friend, Trent Ellis, who was on the show back for episode, I believe it was 234. So go back and listen to that one too if you haven't already. But I have Trent to thank for helping with this one as far as getting it set up, and I have Corey to thank for coming on the show because I know his time's valuable, and really appreciate him making time for Fall Obsession podcast and sharing his story on here. So hope you guys enjoy this one. It is a great story. Corey is as down to earth as they come, just a great human being, a great guy, family guy, faith-driven guy. I can't say enough good things about him. So I really enjoy this conversation and getting to know him a little bit, and hope that you guys enjoy it as well. Fall Obsession podcast is brought to you guys in partnership with our friends over at Hoot Camo. Corey is actually rocking a Hoot polo in this podcast video, which is pretty cool. We love our friends over at Hoot, and there is a discount code later in the podcast for you guys, so make sure that you listen up for that. Whatever platform you are streaming this podcast on, if this is your first time joining us, again, thank you, and make sure that you hit that follow or subscribe button up there, whatever they have up there for you guys. That way, you guys know every week when we put out a new podcast episode. We drop weekly episodes. The audio version hits on Mondays, and then the video version, if you guys like watching the podcast videos, hits the YouTube channels on Thursdays every week. So go check out the YouTube, subscribe over there. We got more than just the podcast on there. We got films, shows, gear reviews, educational content, all sorts of stuff. That same content is also filtering through our website, fallobsession.com, as well as some educational articles, some written pieces, some wild game recipes. Our store, some apparel is on there for you guys. We got a whole bunch of other resources that you guys can check out at fallobsession.com. So make sure that you guys go over there. Social media, wherever you guys are, Fall Obsession's probably got a page there too. Make sure that you follow, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And then last but not least, if you guys have never heard of Carbon TV, I encourage y'all to go check it out. It is a free hunting and outdoor streaming platform for anyone who wants to tune in. You can pull it up on a computer. They have an app you can download. You can put it on your smart TV, whatever the case might be for you, whatever's convenient. And you can stream hundreds of different hunting shows, podcasts, films on demand for free. Like I said, Fall Obsession produces 4 different shows on the Carbon TV platform. This podcast, our staff-inspired video podcast series called Couch Chats, is on Carbon TV, as well as our 2 different hunting shows, Texas Dirt and Midwest Mindset. Again, guys, Carbon TV, go check it out if you haven't heard of it yet. Enough from me. We're going to get Corey in here and get this conversation going. Thank you guys for tuning in. You are listening to another Fall Obsession podcast.
The power lies within that middle ground.
Hunting transformed my life.
I think you have to be built somewhat different.
That Dale Brisby's a super puncher.
It's when you get Pop-Tarts on the next Walmart order. I'm serious.
Because to come into this country and stay dedicated to that, it was pretty awesome.
If it's only for one, then you've done your job.
We have to do what's right for the wildlife, and that's our responsibility as hunters.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Fall Obsession podcast episode. My name is Sam Thrash, hosting you guys. My guest this week is Corey Lehr from Monarch Hunting Products. Welcome to the show, man. Happy to have you.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been excited. We had a bug put in my ear by a mutual friend of ours, Trent Ellis, that I needed to connect with you and get you on the show. And Excited to finally do that. I hear there's a lot to your story, and I'm excited to share it with our listeners. So
Everybody has a journey, that's for sure.
yeah, everybody does, man. For sure. Well, for our listeners who don't know who you are, because we got people all over the country that listen to the show, not just in Texas, but just tell us a little bit about yourself and like where you first got exposed to hunting in the outdoors and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, short story, I'm just a redneck from Southwest Arkansas.
There you
Long
go.
story. Long story. Well, kind of long story. I mean, we before I took over at Monarch, we were in the mulch business for many years, and when we decided to move on from that, I had an opportunity to buy this place, and didn't know what I was getting into, but we went for it, and it's been an uphill battle, but I think we're clear of it, and moving forward. But I'm from Hope, Arkansas. I claim Mike Huckabee more than I do Bill Clinton.
Gotcha.
But I'm from I'm from Southwest Arkansas. I'm just I'm a redneck from Southwest Arkansas. That's all I can say, brother.
I got you,
I mean,
man.
With an just with the hunger and a passion to try to create my own path, and like I told you briefly before, I mean, good Lord doesn't put anything in front of us we can't handle, and He thought I could handle the journey that we went on early on when we took over at Monarch, but we're past it and enjoying every minute of it. I mean, every minute of it. I've been ultimately I got to feed these kids I have, but my man, just the people that I've been able to meet through this journey in the past 4.5, 5 years is overwhelmingly good.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot from it. And I think it's made me a better person, better family man, and everything in regards to it. So, short and skinny of it is, decided to buy this company and try to be in the deer blind and feeder business for a living.
There you go.
So,
well, you're obviously making a splash with that, man, and I definitely want to dive into that and get detailed with that with you. So tell me a little bit about how it came about as far as your interest in purchasing this company and how all that got dropped in front of you.
So like I said earlier, we were in the mulch industry. We did a lot of fabricating. I've always loved and enjoyed to work with my hands, weld, work with metal. When I started looking for opportunities, I was like, man, if I could find something that not only I enjoy to do from a hobby standpoint, but make it work, that's the ultimate goal. So started doing some searching online and Better Business Bureau and all that other stuff, and came across Monarch for sale 2019, and decided to come down, have a meeting with the previous owner. Knew going into it that there's going to be some room in there. They're going to fudge the numbers a little bit on their end. Did I know to the extent that it was? No. But we ended up taking over and going down that road. Now, the one thing I can say before I go any further on that is that I love to fabricate and I love to hunt. The one thing that I've done wrong in this entire deal, 100% done wrong, is I never really put into account that my busy season was hunting season. So I don't get to hunt as much anymore. So we're working past that part right now. But outside of that, it's, I have nothing good but to say about it now. I guess I'll go ahead and dive into it a little bit.
Let's go for it.
It's with when I took over, or when I was in the process of purchasing Monarch, the individual that I bought it from, if I'd have known his real name, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Period. Because when I did my research, I did it off of the name that I was given, not his birth name, and nothing showed up. His actual name, oh boy, it was bad, So we took over in 2019. I've always loved to fix and flip I've done it from an early age with dirt bikes or trucks or go-karts or whatever else. And that was kind of my mindset as well down this journey, was going, crap, I know I'm buying I would say a failing company, one that's not doing great, with the hopes and opportunity to just put my drive and willpower behind it and work ethic and make it something again.
Right.
So I knew that going into it, that it wasn't the best of the best. Paperwork signed, everything's done. A week in, I'm still living in hope. I hadn't moved up here yet. Everything kind of happened real fast. And my wife calls me, and I'd just broken out in hives. I'm talking about just blotched up hives everywhere. And I was like, man, I'm not one to go to the hospital either, and I didn't go still, but I'm thinking right then and there, I knew what it was. It was stress induced, because at that point, 2 weeks to a month in, I'm stressed to the max, because I take over, come to find out there's $100 and some odd $1,000 in accounts received or in invoices out that he took the money for and didn't build the product. So not only do I have to buy the company, but I have to offend all this money to, supply the goods. And I'm at my age at that time, that's how I can't 35, 33 or 34. That's a tough pill to swallow, because I done invested everything I had in just purchasing it.
Right.
Well, so that's struggle number one. That's when I start diving in and going, okay, the books, the financials, everything that I received, they're not adding up to what I'm being told now. And so that's when the hives break out. That's when all the other stuff breaks out. And that's when I get down on my knees. Good Lord, hey, this is yours.
Yeah.
I need you. I done screwed up. Now you got to show me the path and tell me, make me learn from it.
So are you finding that out from the client that didn't receive the product, basically? Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
I was getting phone call after phone call after phone call of, hey man, I ordered this 3 months ago, wanting to know when my blinds are ready or my feeders are ready, and I'm like, and I'm looking on the board and I'm going, it's not that. Where's the paperwork? And about the time I'm starting to realize all this, I get a phone call from the district attorney in Weatherford, and she goes, Corey, we have apprehended the previous owner, and he's in jail, and he's going to court for taking $800,000 from the wrong woman in Weatherford, and you are the nail in the coffin in regards to him not ever change, because his argument was, I'm a changed man. I don't do this stuff again, or anymore. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm done with it. I've put it behind me. I've given it to the big man upstairs. I'm trying to move on. And in all honesty, it's the first time I've talked about it in a long time. So, she said, okay, I understand, and left me alone. Well, a week goes by, she calls me again. I'm still dealing with all these invoices coming in, people wanting their stuff, disgruntled customers, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she goes, Corey, I hate to tell you, but I got to subpoena you. You're coming, you're coming to testify. So to sum it all up, I buy Monarch. We're a month 2 in. I've got all this. My family still lives in Southwest Arkansas. I'm living out of a hotel in Alvarado, Texas, trying to operate this company. More money is exponentially flying out than coming in.
Yeah.
Then I'm getting subpoenaed to court to testify against the individual I bought it from. And it's just
my word, man.
Everything going on.
That would take a lot of people out of the game right there. They'd wash their hands of it and be like, I'm done. I can't.
So that's the thing. That's the thing is, I remember having this conversation with my wife. We were sitting in our little farmhouse, 1,500 square foot, and I've got my daughter and my son. They're newborns at the time. They're young, and I'm almost in tears. I'm almost like, man, this is the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. And she said, how'd she put it? She said, nope, it ain't. Big man, or, good Lord put us here for a reason. Don't go put a hole in nobody, because I know that's you and that's what you want to do. Use this as your testimony. Use this as your way to show that, hey, he might have done that, but now let's go prove him wrong. and make this the best hunting company in the world.
Yeah.
And I still have that mentality. And it's been like a weight lifted off my shoulders when I did that. I was like, you know what? I wanted to buy something to fix and flip. It's just a little bit further down in the dumps than I thought it was when I took
Yeah,
over.
a little more fixing and flipping.
But let's move on past it and make it the best thing it is. And
hey guys, sorry to cut y'all off from the conversation. We'll get back to it in just a second. But first, I want to tell you guys about Hoot Camo. Hoot Camo is one of the best camouflage brands out there for the blue collar hunter. The prices, you can't beat them. The patterns are extremely versatile. They work in so many different environments. I have worn Hoot Camo hunting whitetails, hogs, and turkeys down here in the hardwoods, the mesquites, the scrub brush of Texas. I've worn it in the flatland plains of eastern Colorado hunting mule deer. I've even worn it in the mountains of central Idaho hunting elk. It works in so many different places. It is extremely high quality gear, extremely warm, holds up well against the elements. You cannot beat it. Go to hootcamo.com, use the code FallObsession15 on your next order, no matter how big or small it is, and check out everything that Hoot Camo has on there for you guys.
We went to the courtroom, got in there. I had to sit outside the entire time because I'm on the stand, so that I couldn't hear anybody and let them sway my judgment. I'm nervous. I'm 6'3", 240 pounds. I'm not a small guy. I'd rather be in a fetal position outside. Like I'm a baby, and nervous as all get out, freaking out, wondering what's going on, how it's going to happen. And I walk in and I have to go in. They get me to testify, or I go up to the stand. I got to raise my right hand, do all the things. And she goes, all right, I need you to identify previous owner. And I started at his shoes, and I said orange Crocs, orange jumpsuit, chains around his waist, handcuffs. I got to his face, and he goes, just mouth F you, but says the real word.
Yeah.
And I go from freaking out to, I might lie a little bit up here now. I just get this. I go from nervous to like, I'm ready to get him,
angry. Yeah.
I didn't lie, but I did walk that line. And it was a nervous deal because I didn't want to be there in the first place. I'd already put it behind me. I didn't want to be that guy. I had a little bit of justification in being there because I could tell that he wasn't a changed man. But the thing that made me the most nervous about all of it is the words that come out of my mouth could potentially put an individual behind bars for 50 years,
right, for
the rest of his life. And is when he made that interaction with me, it went from, man, I don't want to do this to, I hope you rot in there, and I struggle with that. I shouldn't think that about a man. And I know I'm wrong for thinking that, but it made it a lot easier to tell my story.
Yeah.
Just to say, and he's now, I don't know, he's in some federal penitentiary somewhere, he's probably not going to serve the whole 50, he'll get out on something. But the crazy thing is if what he did there, the city of Dallas was sitting waiting to see what Weatherford did to him, because he took like $2 or $3 million in money from apartment complexes from the city, to where if they didn't get him, he was about to get it there. So long story short, I don't want to talk about any of it anymore. Let's move past it. But it's been a journey. And I felt it's the reason I'm talking to you about it is I feel like it's apparent that we talk about it from where we've been to where we're going.
Right.
Crap, I still got the lights on. I'm not saying I'm a multi-gazillion dollar company by any means, but I'm able to feed my kids, and it's 2019 happened with all that. And then of course 2020 hits and it's the whole COVID thing. And I'm like, good Lord, help
break. Yeah.
just give me some breathing room, man, and 2021. And we started to finally get some, it took me that long into 21, into 22, because I knew everybody had a bad taste in their mouth with the word Monarch. I knew it. and I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. So I
Yeah.
didn't want to come as the new guy in town for this company going, hey, here's the same stuff that y'all were mad at when, from the previous guy. So
Right.
it took us a little bit longer to hit the ground running, because I wanted to make sure we had stuff I would stand behind. And I'm not saying our stuff's perfect, and that we don't have an issue every so often, but I stand behind the product and I fix it if we do. But I wanted to come out with something to where I knew when people, I only had one shot is what I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah.
They've already been burnt by this guy, and Monarch's got a bad taste in his mouth. If I come out and screw it up out the gate, we're done.
Right.
We're done.
Right.
So going through that, having all that pressure, and then the stress and more pressure of knowing, hey, I got just one chance here, and figuring this out.
So you did not change the name or anything. You kept all the branding and everything the same from the previous owner to you.
That's the only thing. We
Okay.
kept the website and the Monarch name. I mean, the branding has changed a little bit.
Right.
The name's the same, but the logos have changed some. But that's honestly, unfortunately, the only thing that we have left out of it. We've kind of just thrown it all away. Well, not necessarily. The bones of Monarch are still there, but the fit, finish, and quality is upgraded.
Yeah.
The way we build things, the way we do things is still there. We're just putting a different color lipstick on this pig, basically, so I feel like, and of course I know I'm going to be biased towards our product. Okay. But I feel like we have some of the best equipment on the market for the everyday hunter.
Yeah.
And that's been my goal with what we're doing is Texas as a whole. And this, Texas is a different animal.
Yes.
When it comes to hunting, the amount of money an individual spend in the state of Texas on equipment for a deer lease compared to a boy in Mississippi or Alabama or Georgia, they gonna have a coronary over here if they knew.
No joke, man. Holy crap!
I mean?
We shell it out for Texas hunting.
It's crazy. But what we've tried to do is I joke when I say this, but I'm being serious. Is I call myself a poor boy hunter. I want to take care of that middle guy. I want to be in that middle ground to where the low end guy that's used to a plastic feeder or whatever else see the value in what we do and go, man, it's worth a little extra money.
Right.
And even the high end guy, the high fence guy looks at it and goes, crap, I can buy 2 blinds that are just as good a quality for the price of this one. I'm in, so my market space goes from here to here.
Yeah.
And that's been our number one driver and what we're trying to create, going past from the craziness starting out. And then 2, taking what I learned from my grandfather in the mulch industry, because bagging dirt for a living, it's hard to make money. And it's all about being logistically pleasing and taking the logistically pleasing part and implementing that into the deer blind and feeder business is what's been huge for us in regards to shipping product. For instance, our deer blind, this is year 2 for us on the deer blind. And today alone, I'm happy about these numbers, but I know these ain't big boy numbers, but we shipped 3 blinds out today, not one of them in the state of Texas. We sell them in the state of Texas, but because we're logistically pleasing and we're utilizing social media and stuff like we are, they've gone to Maine, Pennsylvania, and Illinois.
Oh, wow.
So it's I think the model will work.
Yeah. The
volume needs to come, to where we get to a big boy box store volume. But it's exciting to see that growth, the potential for growth is there, is what I'm saying. And I ain't letting up.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed.
Well, and from what I recall from your just following you on social media, you've been putting in the legwork too, going to shows in other states and stuff as well to get the name outside of the state of Texas and everything to those spots and everything. So it ain't just them seeing you on social media. I know you're putting in the work too. So
well, and that's the thing is it's that's been the one, I guess, problem that I've been trying to solve is with what we're doing on these platforms. The number one question that I get is, "Hey, where's the closest dealer?" I'm like, "And I ain't got one in Pennsylvania." Which I did. I do, but I don't have one. So the next step is exactly what you just said. Find those shows that are reputable, go to them, take the time and effort to get there, and get this product in front of those people that have been asking about it. And not, don't get me wrong, I want as many dealers as we can find. I'm just going about it a little backwards. I'm going to the consumer itself. They're going into the stores going, "Hey, do you carry this product?" They go, "No." Then they call me.
Yeah.
But that's if there was something that's been just that thing in the back of my head going, how do I get to these places? And that's what we tried this year. And of course the Hunters Extravaganza shows are always phenomenal. We went to the World Deer Expo in Alabama. That was probably some of the most fun I've ever had. Just because of the friends that I had there. I went to Washington and had a show up there and got, it was a tuition fee, so to speak.
Really?
Very similar to the story of me buying Monarch. But so I got a little gun shy on going crazy on the shows, but I think where I'm headed now and what we're trying to do is, before I go, because for me, it's expensive to haul blinds and all these things to these shows. And then they ask the numbers that they ask for these booth spaces. What I've started to do is go, and knowing people in the industry is huge, and finding folks that you can trust and rely on and take their feedback. And Christian with Dead Air Silencers has become a really, really good friend of mine. And I've tasked him with this as a friend, going, "Hey brother, y'all go to hundreds of shows all over the world, all season. Sit down with me. Tell me which ones I don't need to go get a booth at. Tell me which ones I need to get a plane ticket to and go be a consumer and walk the floor, for me to make that decision." And then grow from that in 26 and 27. So that's kind of the mindset we have. It doesn't solve the problem I have right now when I have folks from South Carolina, Virginia, Florida calling, wanting to know where the closest dealer is. And I'm like, best I can do is go look at me looking stupid on that video. I'm trying to tell you about the blind, but it's worked. I mean, we've sold a decent amount of blinds in the past 2 years. And I'm very goal oriented. It's not that I'm never going to be happy, but I'm always pushing for, for more. Cause I think that's what drives me to be successful. It's not that I'm happy where I'm at in life, but if I get complacent, that's where I'm going to stay, so I'm always pushing for that next. So I'm happy with the blind sales we have and what we've been able to do. Maybe we're more in the tank, but I think that's going to we'll be at NWTF this year again, more from just kind of hanging out, talking with folks. I'm probably going to go to some of the shows up north, and be a consumer, walk the floors before. Cause I mean, for me on these shows, brother, just one show, I'll have bare minimum $15,000 to $20,000 in. I got to sell a lot of product to recoup my cost. And for a small business, it's a lot of money. We're working towards it, but I don't have just a budget with a bunch of money sitting in it going, "Hey, have at it."
Right.
I have to be very, very methodical with the decisions we make, because I might be eating beanie weenies that month if it don't work.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's baby steps. And I've always said it. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Don't let it overwhelm you. Just be consistent and believe in what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I want to back up a little bit, and talk to you mainly about, because you've spoken to it kind of briefly a couple times, about just kind of changing and improving the quality of the product itself, after you took over and everything. So what was in more detail your thought process behind that? What were the things you were looking at specifically, compared to what Monarch was, or the products they had versus what you built them into? What were the things that you wanted your products to have exclusively, I guess.
It wasn't necessarily what I wanted them to have. It was more of the fit, finish, and quality side of it. What Monarch used to do accomplished the job. Mm-hmm. They built a box and put a spinner on the bottom of it, or they built a box and threw some holes in it you could hunt out of. But going back to that middleman mentality of me going, if I look at a deer blind and that last 10%, and what I mean by that is trim work being perfect, carpet overlaying properly, the emblems, the way the door latches work, all those little fit and finish items. For if I'm going to go out there and tell an individual, hey, this is why you need to spend this type of money on my feeder or my blind, and they look at it and go, man, I see daylight there, that the paint's dripping here, all those little small imperfections, it's harder for me to sell. It's not. Right. So that was our main focus in what we did, is just make that last 10% of finish out perfect.
Right.
As best as we could. What Monarch used to do, for instance, that Monarch had that quantum clock. It was probably what they were known for in the control boxes on the spinners on the bottom of these feeders.
Hey folks, if you guys are in the North Texas area like I am, then you need to go to Bear River Archery and Pro Shop in Van Alstyne, Texas. Justin and the guys up there have an incredible operation set up. They will take great care of you and all of your archery needs. They are the official bow shop in North Texas, a Fall Obsession. I love going there, and I'm picky. If you guys know me, I am very selective on who I let work on my bow. I will let Justin work on my bow. They do great stuff. Check out Bear River Archery and let them know that Fall Obsession sent you.
Mr. Becker built every single one of them by hand up in North Texas somewhere. I can't remember where exactly. And love the guy to death. Great engineer. You need a PhD to run the thing. I mean, it was just, you had to tell it when to turn on, when to turn off. You had to make sure the test mode was all these things. I'm like, the idea behind it, the function works, because I still to this day have guys call me and they have feeders that are still working in the field that are 20 to 30 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so because they were so analog, meaning you had to tell it everything, to do, it wasn't a digital base. It worked. It just, people got mad because, nobody knew how to set them,
right.
But from taking that and going, all right, two things have to happen for us in Monarch. One, it's a flooded market, period. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry that have a garage with a welder think they can build a blind and feeder. And more power to them. Have at it. Right. Go at it. So from a volume standpoint, what I was looking at is going back to that last 10%. And that's the main change that we made is I want that finish to be absolutely perfect. I know it's not going, deer don't care. Like I had a guy come into the shop in 2021, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And this is, I'm telling you this because this sums up what I'm, trying to explain. As he came in and he told me, well, the deer don't care what that feeder looks like. And I went, no, but the dude buying it does. You want it to look halfway decent. I know it works. But in the same sense, when it sits on a shelf or it sits on a lot or it sits wherever else, if it's sitting next to a competitor's and ours, it works properly, but the seams aren't, squared up. The joints aren't just right. It's out of square, blah, 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 blah. That you can't sell that, in my opinion, And so that was the biggest deal for me with what we were trying to recreate. And yeah, we changed the colors. Monarch used to be, they called it Monarch Brown. It was literally a red primer they put brown tin in and threw on everything, and that goes back to what I'm telling you about, it worked, but it was, we could have made it a little better. And so that's why we changed the colors to do a black and red feeder. No, why? It wasn't because I thought it would make deer come to it or whatever else. It was because I was trying to differentiate ourselves from the old to the new. And I think it worked. we're still rocking and rolling. But it was, long story short, it's that finish out, that last 10%. And then two, for me is customer service. 9 times out of 10 right now, I'm giving my guys a little bit more authority. I want them to kind of, they're doing a great job. But 9 times out of 10, if you call with an issue on a blind or a feeder or need instruction on how to work it or whatever else, you're going to get me on the other line. Mm-hmm. If you call shipping and receiving, needing to know where your product is, you're going to get me on the other line. If you email or if you do this, you're going to respond.
You are all the departments. So.
Correct.
Yeah.
So trying to take care of our customers, regardless if they're right or wrong. And I'll say it, regardless if they're right or wrong, customer's always right. I'm going to take care of them, do the best I can. And I think that's a huge part in what we're trying to create as well, is standing behind our product and taking care of our customers, period.
That's a lost art in today's world. I feel like, man, there's fewer and fewer people that have the same value in that, at least from what I remember, like, growing up and what my dad taught me and stuff like that. And then on top of that, it's like there's other companies, and this in the hunting industry, that I feel like are so big. Not that you guys aren't going to continue to grow. I fully believe you are, but companies get so big that it's easy for more stuff to fall through the cracks, like an unhappy customer to mean less to the company, right? And you start losing some of that value. So we were talking before we hit record, I love working with companies or talking to people who you can pick up the phone and talk to the owner or somebody who actually has a vested interest in the brand, so.
And that's honestly, I'm all about creating a firm foundation in everything we do. There's a reason why we're just now really rocking and rolling 3 years in. It's because I wanted to have all the proper tools in place for that growth. And going back to the customer service side of it, that's top 3 in our growth. And that's why I've let Josh and Ryan take over on the phone. It's because they need to know how to handle these conversations when they're had, because it's not when we continue to grow, I got to have help on that. I can't answer every phone call or email, and they're doing a phenomenal job at it. And now, granted, Josh came into the office yesterday and he said, I want you to take this phone back. It's a lot. I'm not going to lie. And we had an individual call yesterday, and he was an older man, and he was struggling setting one of the old quantum clocks. And I told Josh this, because Josh, when I hired Josh on, he told me, he said, I don't sell, I fabricate. And I said, brother, you're going to learn how to sell. You're going to learn how to operate, because we got to do it all, And he's done great at it. But he told me, he said, man, I talked to this guy for 45 minutes. I solved his problem in 5 on how to set that timer. But he wanted to tell me about his deer hunts. He wanted to tell me about the last deer he killed. He wanted to do all this. And he's driving a 30-foot trailer to J&N Feed and Graham to drop off, deliver product. And he goes, man, he just kept going. And I said, what'd you do? He said, I talked to him the whole time. I learned that they killed 145-inch 8-point. They did this and the other. But it's stressful too, and I mean, no disrespect to the individual that called, but that's a lot of it, majority of the time is. But it goes back to the point I'm trying to make is customer service is key. So if we have to have those conversations, regardless of the amount of work that we have on our plate, we're going to stop what we're doing. We're going to have them. That does not mean that whoever watches this, call us and talk to us.
Call Monarch and just talk hunting. Yeah.
Let's talk about last year's hunt. But that's a big part in it. I don't want people to pick up the phone or look at our website or look at our company and go, oh, that's just another highfalutin big wig. He don't care about me. He just cares about the numbers. No, we do care about you. We want our product to work. We want you to be successful behind it. And yeah, we'll listen to some stories. I would prefer you call me in the off season and not when we're ramping up and we're rocking and rolling.
Right.
But regardless, we're going to listen and we're going to talk and we'll share those stories.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's always something. We've enjoyed the ride up to now, and we're going to continue for growth and to achieve that next level and to keep going. But it's all about putting those proper tools in play to where that growth doesn't hinder us.
Right.
In regards to, like you said earlier, I don't want people getting mad because, oh, well, he didn't take care of me or he didn't do this or what.
Yeah.
And I could talk for hours, but we've learned from that too, you know. And that's what I tell guys is a big question that we get when we go to these shows or whatever is, what's your warranty? And I don't necessarily set like a 5-year, a 10-year, a 2-year, or whatever else. But if there is a issue with my product in the first 2 to 3 years, I'm going to take care of you. The reason I don't put a warranty on it is because, you know, I had a tuition fee with an old boy that called me, and he called me and he was complaining about one of our feeders. And he said, the dang motor quit working. This thing's a piece of junk, blah, 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 blah. And I said, hang on, I'll take care of it. If there's a motor, if there's something wrong, bring it into the shop. I'll replace it for free. He brings it in. The feeder had been underwater for 3 months. Yeah, everything don't work, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that's what, you know, because at that time I had a 1-year or 2-year warranty or whatever it was on it, I replaced it. For a small company, a motor's not the end of the world, but every dollar counts.
Right.
And so that's why we kind of learned from that and moved, you know, didn't change. We still warranty stuff. I just don't go out there. I don't use it as a sales tactic is what I'm saying.
Right.
25-year warranty or 10-year warranty, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm going to be honest with you straight up. Hey, look, something wrong. Let's fix it.
Yeah. I'm going to stand behind my quality and do the right thing. Yeah.
But if you bring me in a feeder that's been floating for 3 months, hey, brother,
yeah,
it's $39.99. I'm going to need you to pay up on that one.
Yeah.
So, and that's stuff that we've learned. And I know that's probably, the more we grow, it's going to be easier to just go ahead and just say that's a warranty deal. But right now, like I said, man, every dollar counts. So I want to fix it if there is something wrong. But I'm also, you can't call me and expect me to go, yeah, I'll replace a $2,000 feeder free of charge, you know, or whatever. When you've been doing something random with it or something, you know, I don't, but it's been a learning deal for sure, because that, going back to the customer service side of it, that's a fine line to walk. It's a fine line to walk on, you know, telling a customer, hey, and it's only happened twice to where a guy, and then he even fessed up afterwards. He's like, yeah, it might have been underwater or whatever. Yeah. this, that. I'm like, tell us that up front. We could, you know, you could have saved the time, effort, blah, 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 blah. But it's a fun business to be in, is all I can say.
I imagine you interact and meet some interesting folks too. So yeah.
Oh, guy came in one time. I think I posted a video about this, and look, when I do some of those skits and stuff, I flamboy them up a little bit, but the truth behind it is real.
Yeah.
And I had an old boy come in one time and telling me that he needed 3 blinds down in South Texas, and he needed them yesterday. And I'm like, yes, sir, we can handle it. We can load them up now. You got a trailer, let's go. And I kept talking and kept asking. I'm just trying to kill him with kindness and talk.
Yeah.
He finally told me to shut up because I think he was down there using my blinds to hunt the cartel. And I'm not joking.
Oh my goodness.
And I know I probably shouldn't bring that up, but I mean, it's stuff like the stories that we hear from that to that's the only one that's been like that crazy. But you know, it's been enjoyable to hear the stories and connect. And then too, for me, when customers send me pictures and they've got their 7-year-old just took down their first deer or whatever else, I'm like, yes, that's what it's about to me, is getting that younger generation in the woods. So
absolutely.
It's a wild ride, brother.
Yeah, for sure. So you've used the term a couple times in reference to yourself or the guys that work for you, fabricating. How much of the actual build are you guys hands-on with?
So it depends on the product. So our higher end stuff, we do 60 to 80% of. On like the lower end stuff, like the power box or the volume drivers, those are outsourced. They're my designs, they're my intellectual property, whatever you want to call it. It's really justified based off of price point.
Okay.
And I'm open to say that. I'll tell you a story, and this is going back to a learning experience. We outsourced some stuff this year and brought it in from China. And I got hit with a $15,000 bill because it didn't have made in China on the box. Wasn't because I was trying to hide it. It's just I didn't know,
Yeah. Wow.
And learning from that and going on. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I ain't the only one in the state of Texas that brings stuff in. Okay. And I ain't talking bad about nobody else in the market. I'm just the only one that owns up to it. It's unfortunate, if you want me to be honest. It is unfortunate that our world has gotten to where it's at. I will also say, and I stand behind this, that if the volume gets to where it's susceptible to do, I will bring it back. It's not that I don't want to, but from a small business standpoint, if you look at it from my shoes, knowing that I don't have just millions of dollars laying around, would you rather spend it in inventory, or would you rather go, crap, I got a great idea. Let me go buy a $10 million facility. Let me go buy $4 million with the tools, 30 employees, all these other things. Let's shoot for the stars, hope it works, and have 40 million in something, or 400,000,
right?
So I'm telling you all this because I am transparent and open with it all. We start small, we make it viable. We want to see it work. We want to see it produce income. And then if it does, and there's an opportunity to bring it back in and it still be viable and competitive in the market, you darn right we're going to do it. But now the Texas quality stuff, that stuff, we do a good bit of that in-house. We don't do any laser cutting anymore. I had a laser table or a plasma table for a while, but I didn't like the quality of cuts that it produced. So we do outsource the cuts, and then we'll fab the stuff up.
Hey guys, Trophy Edits is a Fall Obsession podcast partner. We all have mounts on our walls that represent a significant moment, a significant harvest in the woods for each and every one of us, and photographs can do the same. I'm sure you guys have pictures from years past, hunting with loved ones or being in the woods with family and friends that also represent those big moments. And what Trophy Edits does is they showcase those moments for you guys, just absolutely make your pictures explode and to the level that you guys can put them on the wall and also have that memory forever represented in your home, your office, your man cave, whatever it might be. Give Trophy Edits a chance to do the work for you guys. And again, they make those pictures just absolutely awesome with their professional team of editors. So go to Trophy Edits website. The link is in the podcast description. That lets them know that you guys came from us, and use the code FALLOBSESSION at checkout to save you guys some money.
Because those tables are a few $100,000.
Yeah.
That's a decent amount of payroll to keep the lights on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really just depends on the product. Just to sum it up, if you want me to be honest.
I got you.
It's once again a learning. With the tariffs this year, with everything going on, it was wild there for a little bit, most especially for me, because we were sitting there going, I stopped production on some of the smaller items because tariffs got up to like 120% when they got in those battles. I'm like, brother, I can't bring it in. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
And then we were able to still come in. And so tariffs ended up hitting us for 40%. And then I got that $15,000 tuition fee on top. It was a fun year for learning, but if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I express that to you right now because it's not y'all. I mean, I ain't hiding nothing.
Yeah.
And it's now granted, you go buy our 650 or 1,000 pounder or the bigger, higher, gauge, heavier gauge stuff. That's us. And that's happened too at the shop. Is I've had a guy come in and we had our 650 and those things. And my selling point on those things is horrible. The first thing out of my mouth is they ain't cheap. They ain't cheap. They're high.
You're going to spend
That's
a lot
not
of
good.
money with me.
You're going to spend a lot of money on it. I'm not making a killing. It's just that expensive. And I had a guy come into the shop, and he goes, "I don't want nothing China made." Da, 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 da. I said, "All right, I got you. $650 over here. We can get you set up with this $650 Premier. Da, 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 da. How much is it? $16.75. Where's that China feeder at?" Or whatever, you know. I'm like, look. So it's a fine line to walk on that, and we've learned from it, we've grown from it, and we've been, you know, Monarch. We're doing what we're doing right now with 2 employees, not including myself. So it goes back to what I was telling you earlier about laying that groundwork. I want to make these products viable, and then when the volume gets there, that's when we make those bigger decisions on going, okay, how much do we pay? How much do we spend on infrastructure? How much do we spend to buy our own, you know, facility, tools, blah, 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 blah. Is it justified? You know, and move that way. And I think there are some opportunities for like the smaller feeder that we do, the little barrel stubby kit, for us to bring some of that stuff in and do it in house. I just, being blatantly honest, brother, I ain't got $2 million to lie down on some tools right now. You know, I just don't. And that's why we do what we do. And I think that too, me being as open about it as I am, I'm telling you, we do have a wide range where we do things here and we don't. You have your choice. Where's your price point? Where's your budget? And let the customer talk and make his decision based off of that. And I think that helps us a lot more than it hurts us.
Absolutely.
And continue to grow and continue to do it and see what happens. And it would, granted, do I want to be 85 years old, bending, welding, laser cutting, you know, all that stuff? No, I hope I'm not, but I mean, knowing me, I'm probably going to be. I'm trying hard not to.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be in the middle of it somewhere.
Yeah.
Even though my guys, most of the time, if those double doors open and I walk to the back, they're like, "Oh gosh, now what?" You know. But it's been. Long story short, we're going to do whatever it takes to be the best, if not close to the best, in the market in the next few years, and continue for growth. Now, look, I've also I put my head on my pillow at night and rest easy, knowing that it's all the good Lord's, you know, plan.
Amen.
That might not be His plan for me. It might not. It might be that this thing shuts down next year. I don't know, but I don't want that to happen, but I'm content with it. I really am, you know. And as soon as 2021 and 22, he wasn't there. He wasn't my rider, you know. And I was like, I got to do this. I got to do that. Breaking out in hives, all these other things. It's my problem. I got to fix it. Da, 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 da.
Right.
And then when I finally went, hey, it's yours. What do I got to do? Tell me. And then having that sense of just weight lifted off your shoulders, going, hey, it's all right if we fail. It might be His plan.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's what skyrocketed us into where we're at. Is you know, giving it to Him.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you have to give it to Him, because like we'll run it into the ground if we're trying to do it ourselves. Like, I mean, that's a fact. You know that better than anybody. So yeah,
that's it. And it's going to, you know, everything that we've done, everything that where we're at. I want more, but man, just going to the people that we've met, the friendships that we've created. It's hard. Because of the things I've been through, it's hard to get into my inner circle. And if you can get there, brother, I'll do anything for you. And I've been fortunate enough to meet more good people than bad.
Yeah.
I do have my antennas up though on a lot.
Well, yeah, you have to. You've put it all on this, right? You have.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, you have to be cautious in to some extent, regardless. So.
That's what, like, we sold a blind 2 weeks ago, and I take it as a compliment what I'm about to tell you, and I did it respectfully. But one of my competitors bought it, and they were bringing it in to look at what we were doing, and Ryan called me and said, "Hey man, or hey boss man, this blind is getting delivered to a warehouse to one of our competitors." I said, "Well, don't send it. Hang on. You know." And I sent him an email, and he straight up, full transparency. "Yeah, we just want to see what you're about. We've seen you. Your stuff's been hitting the interwebs. Da 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 da." And I said, "I'm going to refund your money, and I appreciate the fact that." I'm a little fish in a big pond and I'm making ripples and you saw it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I take that as, hey, we're doing something. And I don't have a bad bone to say about the other competitor, and I hadn't physically talked to him. It was all via email, but if I did, I'd been like, brother, you should have told your wife to buy it and send it somewhere else. Send it to the warehouse, I mean, come on.
Be a little more discreet, golly.
Be a little more discreet, but when I pull it up and it just says nothing but your logo on the front of the building, I mean, no, I can't send it there.
Something about this is
blocks
not
down
right.
the street. So it's always something, but I told you that to say that I'm not saying that they're bad people, but you gotta watch your six. You gotta know what's going on. And I'm not saying that we haven't sold things to other competitors that slip through the cracks. I don't know. It happens all the time. It's not that they're trying to copy what you're doing. They just want to see what you're about and see if they can improve. And there's some crazy stuff that happens for sure. But what do? You just I just stay in my lane, and my wife has always told me to, stay under the radar the best you can and just push, which that's all been thrown out the window the past year with me trying to do what we're doing on social media. But I think there's enough room. I mean, this is a $12 billion industry, I believe. Mm-hmm. There's enough money out there for us all to make a piece. Let's work together and get it. Yeah. Let's not fight each other for it. I treat it no different than I grew up playing golf. I was a big golfer, and I treat it no different than that. You and I could go play golf. I'm going to try to whoop your butt on that 18-hole course.
Yeah.
Then we can go to the bar and get us a drink and a sandwich afterwards and talk about life.
Yeah.
It's no different in the business side of stuff for me. I want to be competitive. I want to push. I think that's what makes everybody better, period.
Yeah.
But we ain't got to cheat to do it.
No, I agree with that. Like, I mean, we're in a same industry, a little bit different genre, I guess, just with the podcast and stuff. But I had a dude just the other day be like, "Hey, did you see that so-and-so, a buddy of mine that I used to know, did you see that he started his own hunting show and hunting podcast and stuff?" I was like, "Yeah, I did. Freaking good for him, man." Like, I want the most downloads. I want the most listens. I want everybody to listen to the show, but there ain't no reason that nobody should be listening to his too. Like, I don't know. The person coming to me was like it was a bad thing. Like, "Did you see that he did this?" I was like, "It's not like he's sharing his stories, man. Like, I'm happy for him. Like, go for it. Shoot for the stars." And so
that's what, like, for me, I haven't been able to meet every single one of the big blind manufacturers in the state of Texas, but I have been able to meet a majority of them, and I ain't got a bad bone to say about any of them. And that same story I just told you about the golf, it's the exact same thing I told them.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. I want y'all to, if I could ever get to the growth that you guys have, and I start nipping on your heels, I hope that pushes you to do better, because I'm trying to get you, period. That's what I'm coming for.
Yeah.
And if I get you, that means you're not doing something right or whatever else. Or if I can't get you, that means I'm not doing something right, So it's that competitive aspect of just continually pushing each other.
Right.
And it's, for instance, the Ranch King, David Yarbrough over there has become a decent friend of mine, and I never was able to meet Mark, but that's the conversation I had with him. Dave, we were sitting at one of the shows. We were at the same spot eating dinner, and him and I were over there. And look, we're gonna give each other a hard time. That's what you'll learn about me, is if I can't give you a hard time, that means I don't like you, or I don't feel comfortable enough to open up to you.
Right.
And you look at David, like if David and I were sitting together, they think him and I are mad at each other because we're competitors. No, it's just us giving each other a hard time because we like each other, you know? So that's how I live my life. And that's how I'm going to conduct business, period. Mm-hmm. Is my grandfather always told me is to, and I live by this, and, give 110% in life, do the best that you can do, and know when you put your head on your pillow at night, you've done no wrong to any individual, you will be successful, period. And I live by that. And I can get mad and all that stuff. And it's because I'm just so affectionate about what we do. I'm just passionate about it. But from a standpoint of belittling somebody or trying to get it, man, I just think, man, it's going to eat away at me. I can't do it.
Yeah.
If I can't beat you fair and square, I can't beat you. And that's what's big to me. And that's what we live by at Monarch. And it's I think it's going to work. I don't know. It's God's plan, not my plan. I'm just trying it, but we're going to stay consistent in how we operate and how we build stuff and what we build and the quality and reach for the stars, man. I mean, it's, American dream, I think.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. It's a lot of hard work, but you're living it for sure. You live in something. Live in something. Yeah. You mentioned it earlier. It was one of the kind of the last talking points I had on my list here was the social media side of that. As far as like the last year getting into that, what's that been like for you?
I never thought I'd be there, brother. If you want to be honest, when we took over, I hope nobody scrolls all the way back to the very first video, but my wife thought it'd be a good idea to do one of them trending videos with the sounds and you do the dance and all that stuff. And I look back at it and I go, what in the world was I thinking?
Why did I do that?
Why? I mean, and there's a lot of them that I've done and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's cringy. That's horrible. Yeah. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
But meeting the folks that I've met and Trent and learning from him, learning from some of the other guys and pushing, it's no different. I mean, you look at a Trent or a Dylan Reese or a Aaron or whoever in that industry, and they've been able to be so successful at what they're doing. If they can do it, I can do it, is my mentality. Doesn't mean I'm going to be as good as them, but crap, anybody can do it. You just got to put the work in and figure it out. And it's also very beneficial to meet folks like that in the industry, to be able to bounce ideas off of. Hey man, this didn't work. What do you suggest? This, and I've talked to plenty of them. And that's what I love about these friendships is they're friendships, period. And they will be blatantly honest and go, hey, that was horrible. Why did you need to cut it here? You need to edit here. I'm like, whoa, you need to calm down. That kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But we put when I started, this was before I met anybody, but I had posted one video on our power bank, the charger, that little deer blind power source that you put in.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the show. Hope you guys are enjoying it. There's so many different places that you guys can tune in to Fall Obsession Podcast, and one of them is the Outdoor Call radio app. Outdoors Dan from Respect the Game TV, he created an app that you can download on any device where you can stream hunting shows and podcasts on a loop every single day. Our show, Fall Obsession Podcast, plays on that loop on Mondays. That's the same day as our new publications on the other apps. And there's also tons of other hunting shows and podcasts on there that you guys can listen to. Go download the Outdoor Call radio app today. It is free. You can start streaming immediately. And be sure that you follow their Facebook page, because Outdoors Dan does some live radio shows throughout the week. And even if you are not local to those radio stations, his broadcasts are shared on his Facebook Live. It's Outdoors Dan and the Outdoor Call radio app. Go download it today.
And it was a horrible video. But I was stepping into that world, and it went for 500,000 views. And I'm not lying. I had to take 2 truck bed loads to UPS the next day.
No kidding.
And I went, all right, I got to figure this out.
There's something to this.
This is here. And then I went to, my dad made me go to, in the process of all this, my dad made me go to a men's retreat, and I can't tell you about it all. It's called the River Rule. If you want to find out, you got to go. But short and skinny of it is being vulnerable as a man. and putting yourself in vulnerable positions to, speak the word and all the other stuff. I still try to do that in the content. I'm not saying I don't, but taking the vulnerability side of it, that was the big thing for me from the social media aspect, is I don't want people thinking I'm dumb or stupid, or, stepping out and giving somebody the opportunity to comment on a video and say, man, you look like a dummy.
Yeah.
And when I finally lifted that off and went, you know what, who cares? Let's have at it. Let's figure it out. And I still ain't got it figured out. But we have been able to see some growth from it, and it's been a journey. It's now become, when it started, it was just doing it to do it. Now it's a part of business. Like, I make sure that I get to work, and before I open my computer and start going down that rabbit hole of putting fires out and touching emails, I make my video for the day. I got a 20-minute ride in. I'll figure out, most of the time I do it the night before, kind of figure out what I want to do. But if I don't, I'll think about it before I get in there, and I'll throw a video together and get it put out. And learning how it works and seeing what works for my channel versus anybody else's, it's the, it's the way of the world now.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what separates us from anybody else in the industry, is you don't really see the owner of any other hunting blind or feeder manufacturer physically looking like a crazy man talking about his product every day, and that's the thing, is the content that we put out, I wanted it to do two things. One, no, I'm not going to throw a Bible verse at you every day, but you're going to know where my mindset is and who I believe in.
Right.
And two, I want to be relatable. I don't want people to think that I'm some highfalutin somebody, whatever else, living on a high hog in a high ranch somewhere, high fence ranch somewhere. I put my pants on the same way you do, brother. I ain't no different. And I'm trying to use social media to, sell product, but more I'm trying to sell Monarch. I'm trying to sell us as a whole.
A validity to the brand. Yeah.
Correct. It seems, do I have the numbers of some of my friends right now? No, I don't. But I mean, we had 5,000 followers on Facebook last year, and we just went over 101,000 followers yesterday. So we're getting growth. It's resonating somewhere, and it's been huge for sales for us as well. I mean, what really put me down this path was last year, coming into this market and going up against some of the competitors that I have, most especially in the middle of a presidential election, the uncertainty in the world. When you go to a dealer and go, hey, I'm the new guy, buy my stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go buy the guy that I've been doing business with for 20 years. And so I'll say it, social media saved us last year. I mean, it was a very integral part in what we do and how we do and how we operate. I don't, outside of the Hunters Extravaganza shows, I don't think I sold one deer blind to a dealer last year.
Oh, wow.
The rest of them were online. They're all online. That's changed this year. We have sold to a few dealers, not as many as I'd like. But that social media has been a very big driving point in getting there. We're basically trying to be not trying to be, but you got to have that, in my opinion, that Amazon mentality when it comes to business now. People are on their phone looking, and they want to press a button and have it delivered to the door.
Yeah.
And that's hard to figure out with a 1,250 pound product. But I think we're on the right track in getting it done.
Yeah.
And it's a way of the world now for us. I mean, that's, like I said, we're going to do it every day.
Yeah.
And it's, man, just once again, going back to just the people I've been able to meet doing it has greatly outweighed any amount of money that's hit my account, period.
Yeah.
You and I wouldn't be sitting here talking right now if it wasn't for some of the folks we met.
Yep. 100%.
It's, and nor would I be sitting here talking to you if it wasn't because of the man that told me and vouched for you. That means, it's the truth. So it's there's there's a lot of good things that can be done with social media if you let it, but it can also be a bad thing too.
It's a blessing and a curse. We've talked about it plenty on my show, over the past year or more, more exclusively, I'd say. But it's just when I'm hearing you talk about it, and I'm looking at y'all's journey and everything. I think it's the growth that y'all are seeing. I think it's phenomenal. I think it is partially a God thing, and I'm looking at it. I know it's a lot of work on your part, but you took over this brand that had a bad reputation, and it's almost like in this last year, this social media growth has helped you overcome that reputation. Because I like a lot of those 100,000 people that have hit that follow button, or roughly that number. They probably had no idea of the Monarch reputation prior to you. So you are all that they know of Monarch. So it's almost like it has completely overshadowed any poor reputation that was there prior to your arrival. So that's pretty incredible. But yeah, it's the way of the world for sure.
And that's the thing is like I said before, we got one shot at this because of the history, period. And the only me getting on there, trying to be funny, not saying that I am, but just being lighthearted and comical and relatable. I hope you see the true man behind Monarch is what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
If you want to do business with us, I'd love to. If you don't, you just like to look at me because I act ignorant, fine. That's fine too. I hope I brighten your day.
Yeah.
And leave it at that. And just keep pushing, man. That's if there's one piece of advice I could give to a youngin like yourself, since I'm the old guy in the group here, is don't lose your path, man. Just keep pushing and know why we're doing it.
Exactly.
And whatever comes of it, comes of it.
Absolutely.
It's meant to be.
I couldn't agree more. And on top of that too, you talked about, it might folks might hit follow for the entertainment value. They may, but I guarantee you, if they ever start thinking, "Oh man, I need a blinder, I need a feeder," you're the first guy they're probably going to think of. So
I sure hope so.
It's business down the line, more than likely at some point. So for a lot of those,
no, it is. Most especially at the end of the month, man. All them bills came in yesterday, and I was I was over there sweating. I don't like the end of the month. I don't like it. So, but that's the struggle of it. Is you got to take the good with the bad and keep pushing. So
absolutely.
My wife doesn't like me when it's at the end of the month either, but I've gotten a lot better about that, about bringing the stress home and all that other stuff. But she's if you want me to be blatantly honest, the reason we're at where we're at is because she's my sounding board.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. All wives are probably that, but she's an integral part in what we do. Is, hey, baby, I'm thinking about doing this. No, you're not.
Bad idea.
I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Or whatever. All right, I won't do that.
Yeah.
Or, but,
no, it takes a team, man. It takes a team.
It does for sure. So.
Yeah. Well, man, we've been chatting for a while. I know we could probably keep going. I am going to start heading for home for the sake of time for our listeners. I got 2 questions I'm going to ask you before we wrap it up, though. These are questions that I hit everybody that comes on the show for the first time with. First one is simple, but folks often have to think a little bit about it, and that is, what is your favorite hunting memory to date in your life?
Hunting with my grandfather. Squirrel hunting.
I
remember sitting under a pecan tree. I was sitting under a pecan tree, and he gave me a 22, and it's the last time I ever hunted with him before we lost him. And I thought I was on high. That's what got me started.
Yeah,
and that's why I say that's the favorite one. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that hunt.
That's awesome. Next question I got for you, and this is one that I always get a kick out of, is what is on your hunting bucket list? What's at the top? What are those once in a lifetime hunts in your mind that you have not gotten to do yet?
All right, look, I'm going wide right here.
Okay. I like
it. It just hit my feed. But these boys down in Florida that are using these air rifles, shooting the iguanas off the canals.
Okay.
Have you not seen that?
I guess not.
Dude, Look it up.
I'm gonna go look it
okay?
up when we get off of here.
That is, I don't know why, but that I could care less about killing a 200-inch. I want to. I'm not saying I don't want to.
Yeah.
But they are. It's World War III out there in these canals in Florida. They're going to town on these iguanas with these air rifles. I know that's random, but that's what I'm telling you. I'd rather do that versus going to Africa, and I've got some good friends over there, and maybe one day I go there. But doing that, being able to get in the boat with your buddies, have fun, mess with each other, and still be able to, it's an invasive species down there. So you're helping the state of Florida out doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the Florida's way of duck hunting is the way I can put it. If you want me to put it.
I'm going to have to look this up now. This has got my interest peaked.
They're using German wire hair pointers, and they're like flying off the front of the boat 20 foot out and just retrieving these things. Half of them aren't gone all the way. I mean, it's intense.
Dang. Well,
I'm going.
I hope you do, man. Golly, you take the cake on this show for probably the most unique answer I've had to that question. We're 253 episodes in. I've never had anybody say that before.
You were probably as a deer blind manufacturer, you're probably going to think I was going to say a nilgai or a giraffe.
Yeah, I've heard nilgai. I've heard the 200-inch whitetail. Elk, moose, caribou, grizzly. Like all those things get thrown around. Nope. Air rifle iguana.
This is how this sums up me as Monarch. I am a Southwest Arkansas redneck. I just want to do the fun stuff.
I love it. That's awesome, man. Well, yeah. If I'll keep an eye out on your page. If you ever get a chance to go, I'll be tuned in. I'll be watching intently.
Hopefully, there's a guide out there that's going to watch this and they'll hit us up, and we'll all go.
Yeah, if you are a guide in Florida or you know a guy, you need to send us a message or send Corey a message. Let's make this happen. That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Well, man, I really appreciate your time coming on the show this evening and telling us about your journey, about the story and the roots kind of behind the curtain of Monarch. It's been awesome getting to know you. I know we chatted for a half hour or so before we even hit record, and been awesome talking to you and learn about this brand that you're building. And I'm excited for you, man. I'm excited to see where it takes you, and we'll be following along with your journey. And might not be the last time you're on the show. Who knows?
100%. Anything I can ever do to help you, brother, it all fair. I don't care. You call me and let me know.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Tell our listeners, anyone tune in, where they can find you.
Monarch Hunting Products, www.deerfeeder.com. Can't make it any simpler.
Easy enough. Perfect. Well, guys, go check out Corey. If you need a blind, if you need a feeder, anything like that, hit up Monarch. They got it going on, and hopefully you guys are heading in the right direction with that. So appreciate you guys tuning into another Fall Obsession podcast. Thank you again, and I will be back with you guys again next week. Catch you then.